Scully Productions.
What's up, Joe? What's up, everybody? Jeff Fannell, Sports360. Well, tonight is the night, July 30th, when the NBA returns to play. The NBA is scheduled to tip off tonight, coming back after 4 months away due to the coronavirus. The NBA joins Major League Baseball, which just returned to play last week. The WNBA and NHL are soon returning. Women's soccer has already returned, and NFL training camps are set to open. And so a lot of people are excited as sports has returned. However, as we've seen with the Miami Marlins outbreak, the return of sports is not without its issues and concerns. Just 4 days into the Major League season, 16 players and 2 coaches on the Marlins tested positive for the coronavirus. This resulted in the rescheduling of several games involving a number of teams, including the Marlins, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Orioles, and also the Washington Nationals. As a result of this outbreak, MLB has instituted some new protocols, and there's even talk of MLB investigating just how the Marlins got infected in the first place. And listen, every sport has developed extensive protocols in an attempt to deal with this virus because we know the numbers. Many states are spiking as we speak. And so as these sports are returning, the players, coaches, managers, and others are returning to a very precarious environment. And so every sport has developed extensive safety and health protocols to help deal with the situation. But the question is it enough? Because in the end, it's more than just rules and procedures that are at play. We also have human behavior and the science of the virus to contend with. So whether any of these sports, those that are in a bubble like the NBA, WNBA, and NHL, or those outside of a bubble like Major League Baseball and the NFL, whether any of these sports are going to be able to successfully get through their contemplated seasons remains to be seen. There's a lot at stake, there's a lot at play, and there's a lot at risk. And so while many are excited to have sports back, it comes with quite a few caveats. Meanwhile, away from the action, away from the courts and from the field, while there's some excitement for sports returning, there's some troubling things going on in the rest of the country. For example, in Portland, Oregon, the whole country, and in fact the world, recently saw the aggressive use of federal force in Portland, where federal officers clothed in military fatigues violently clashed with peaceful protesters, and in some instances snatching protesters off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vehicles. This happening in the United States of America in 2020. There was a similar arrest in New York City, my hometown, by local officers who grabbed an 18-year-old woman right off her skateboard and threw her into an unmarked van. Federal officers have also been dispatched to other cities around the country: Albuquerque, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. And they're being dispatched under cries of law and order. Law and order. A cry that really is coming from a president whose poll numbers and favorability ratings have plummeted. And make no mistake, those who have a deep well of knowledge understand that the cry of law and order is not something that is being made in response to what's going on in our streets, where protests against police brutality and other issues have been taking place. The law and order cry is an historical one, and in fact, it's one that has created some of the very problems that have led people to the streets in protest in the first place, protesting against police brutality, social injustice, and racial inequality. And so, as sports returns, it's returning against a troubling backdrop in our country. In addition to what's going on in our streets and with our police, we also have to acknowledge that as of today, over 150,000 people have died of the coronavirus here in the United States. 150,000 Americans have died from this virus. 4 million have been infected. The virus is also causing real problems in our economy, where the economy is shrinking. A report coming out recently that in the second quarter, the GDP is down 33%, a record 33%. And the forecasts going forward aren't much better. In fact, some economists are saying that our economic output as a country will not return to pre-pandemic levels until early 2022. And as far as employment, these same forecasters are saying that employment levels will not return to the pre-COVID levels until sometime in 2023. And so, as we look around the country and we see the use of federal forces and we see police still being overly aggressive and we see the rising numbers of coronavirus cases and coronavirus deaths, and we see the economy continuing to spiral downward with job losses and business losses and all the rest of it. Yes, sports has returned. But one of the things that we know about sports, and people often say about sports, is that sports serves as a distraction. And after sports being away for so long, people are going to be ready to consume sports and in fact just get all into it to such a degree that it has to pose a question for us. And that is, will we allow sports, which inherently and admittedly is a distraction, will we allow sports right now to distract us from all of these troubling things going on in our streets, in our hospitals, and in our economy? That's a question each one of us is going to have to answer for him or herself. But for me, while I'm happy that sports has returned and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that each of these sports will be able to continue and finish out their seasons, I trust that you understand and will appreciate that while LeBron may be returning tonight, a brother is curbing his enthusiasm. That's it for me. I'll catch you next time. Be safe. Continue to be healthy, and we'll talk soon. Sports 360.